Thank you so much for coming. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the work you are doing in our country to inform, empower, and transform the lives of many through information and through communication. The reason we called you today is to have an opportunity to respond to the deliberate distortions of facts and different distortions on the evidence in the ongoing sodomy case going on at Mwanga 2 in Mengo. I find it necessary to make these statements to correct the deliberate misrepresentation of the facts and the evidence before court, the objective of which is to feed into Pastor Kayanja's false narrative that he is being pursued by me, Pastor Ssenyonga, and other pastors. He does this in order to deflect from the true facts and evidence that has been and is being presented to court. I'm careful not to preempt what's going on in the court proceedings. Therefore, I am going to limit my comments on what has already taken place in the courts of law. I am not here to tarnish Pastor Kayanja's name or anyone's name. That's not my purpose for this meeting or for my life. But to correct the deliberate lies that has now become propaganda circulating everywhere globally and is tarnishing our ministry and my name. Pastor Robert Kayanja, through so many bloggers and sympathizers of his ministry, have pushed a narrative that what is going on in the court is because of me or pastors. What is going on in the court is between himself and those that he accused. There are 9 of them. And none of those has my name. So, there are several news clips that have been going on that I'm going to correct. Some misinformation that I'm going to correct. And first of all, the narrative that the forensic expert did not validate or authenticate messages and information that he found on the phone. That narrative is wrong. The expert has never been questioned about his work being not authentic. He instead emphasized. He looked at different phones. The phones were between Pastor Kayanja's phone and the accused, Reagan. He confirmed that all the information he put in his report of 107 pages is correct, authentic, and was signed off. He did not do this work single-handed. He did this from the hierarchy. He was given the mandate by his director, head of forensics, to do a job. After he did his work, he submitted it to the immediate supervisor. And then after that, another supervisor. Until the entire Directorate of Forensic Department signed off. They signed off on every page. So the report is authentic according to the Forensic Department. And the court never pronounced itself that there was some gaps or non-professional information that was found on the phone. So when you push a narrative that the court pronounced itself about the report, that is false and is misleading. The forensic expert witness, while giving his evidence, confirmed that he extracted that information from the phone of Ssenyonga Ssenyonga, who is one of the accused persons. On the claim that Pastor Kayanja is not the one charging the accused, and that the accused are being charged by state, and that the accused never reported these serious sodomy allegations to any authority, I want to also clarify. First, it is Pastor Kayanja who initiated a complaint alleging that the accused tarnished his name by claiming he had sodomized them. So it was Pastor Kayanja's complaint to police. That they gave false information to one Nandutu, a police officer, about the alleged sodomy, and that they had trespassed at his church at Rubaga Miracle Center. It follows, therefore, that the prosecution of the accused is at his instance. In other words, the prosecutor is working from his complaint. If Kayanja never complained, this case will not be going. And to prove that, if Pastor Kayanja tomorrow says, I have lost interest in the case, that case will fall flat and will be withdrawn. And that's when you hear people say, the prosecution or DPP has lost interest in the case while the complainer pulled out. So to tell the world, he is not the one who took the boys to court, or it is just Uganda versus the boys, that can't stand without a complainant. Mr. Kayanja is the one who filed the complaint, and he's the one pushing. Recently, the prosecutor, Mr. Jonathan Waganya, in the last court proceedings, he said, Pastor Robert Kayanja is my main complainant. He said that. And that's why he was actually advocating, so that he was advocating that Channel 44 should not be punished for misinforming the community. So if you are just a prosecutor of the government, why are you now acting as a lawyer of another television station in court? So there is unity there, and Pastor Kayanja is part of why they are in that predicament. Secondly, the evidence on record is that the accused lodged a complaint about the sodomy. The 9 people, or some of the 9 people that are being accused, they also accused Pastor Kayanja. But you saw Channel 44 saying the accused never reported their sodomy claims anywhere to the authorities or to the police. That is wrong. They filed a complaint against Pastor Robert Kayanja that he sodomized them. So the court directed the police and the prosecution to ensure that Pastor Kayanja's phone is taken from him and subjected to a forensic investigation. That despite that the directive And the order of court was that his phone is released to be examined. That has never happened. The fact that the file that was opened with the IO being Nandutu, the police officer, in that file of Kayanja, she said that Kayanja had a case to answer. When she said that, she referred that file to DPP to prosecute. And instead, DPP closed the file. So to say they never reported these issues to police anywhere is wrong, because the file is there. What does that mean? The boy's file against Robert Kayanja was prematurely closed because the investigations were not done to their fullness. The phone was not investigated or forensic, and other aspects of investigation were not concluded. But it was picked quickly and was closed. So that's another negative narrative that they're trying to push, and it fails.